Hey sis, welcome or welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I showed you guys a 10-minute makeup look that I created this past weekend for a wedding. So if you guys are interested in how I achieved today's look, especially in 10 minutes, then just continue to watch. All right, sis, so before we get into this 10-minute makeup look, I just want to give you guys a little backstory of why I did my makeup in 10 minutes this weekend. So I actually am a makeup artist, if you guys don't know. So I do makeup on the side. Aside from doing YouTube, aside from my full-time job, I do makeup on the side. So I do specialize in bridal makeup, and that's exactly what I was doing this weekend. So I had a group of 3 people, the bride herself, her bridesmaid, and her mother. So you guys can tell I had a busy day. So of course I knew I was probably going to be the last person doing my face, so I made sure to prep my skin, my face before I went to go even do their makeup. So what I did was I moisturized my skin, I put on my SPF, and then I popped on some lashes. So I kind of did it today to show you guys what I was looking like before I went and did their makeup. So this is how my face was: moisturized, sunscreen, and lashes on already. Like I said, I knew that I was going to be in a position where I had to rush. So this is where the 10-minute makeup look came in. So that's just a little background story. So let's get into what I did to get my makeup done in 10 minutes for this wedding. Like I said, skincare is done, sunscreen on, lashes on. So let's get into the first product. All right, so I started off with my primer. You guys know that my love for imanileemariee is real. Like, I use this religiously. I think this is the second one I've gone through. It's definitely hit pan. So you guys can know that what I'm telling you is the truth. Like, I'll never recommend something that I do not live by. So I'm going to use this today, and all I did was focus this in all my T-zone areas, the areas that I knew was going to get really oily throughout the day. So I focused it mainly on my nose, the sides where I have really big pores, my forehead, just anywhere that I have that extra oil production. And if you haven't seen my recent video, I did do a video on the correct order of makeup. I went for my primer first because in that way, while I do my brows, my primer is settling into my skin. Do your primer first before you do your brows. All right, so next I moved on to my brows. So I wanted to quickly get my brows together, so I opted for a brow glue. So today I used my NYX, the brow glue, and this is just the clear version, and I like that it has an applicator in itself, so I didn't have to worry about bringing another brush for myself. Everything is in this compact. So what I did is just use this to brush my brows up and really flatten it, tame it, and put it in place. This is just a really quick way to get your brows together. And I just use my fingers to really flatten it out, and then I just shape it in place with the spoolie. So you can see how that really just brought my brows together really quickly. All right, so next I went in with a brow pencil. So this is the NYX Micro Brow Pencil in Espresso, and I just use this to fill in the sparse areas of my brows and just really create that shape for my brows. So this just really helped put the eyebrows together really quickly. I know everybody has different brow routines, so do what you got to do for your brows. All right, so at this point, I wanted to really focus on my base, so I moved right on to foundation. So I went in with my Maybelline Super Stay Lumi Matte Foundation. I'm in the shade 368. And then I used my BK Beauty 101 foundation brush and used this to just buff in this foundation. Now, this brush is super wide and really big. It covers a really large surface, which also helps to minimize your blending time. So I just pumped some of that foundation on the back of my hand and just warmed it up onto my brush and then started to work this in. Like I said, the brush is super large, so it gets a lot of your perimeter done a lot faster, which is what you need in a 10-minute makeup look. And I love this foundation because it's super lightweight. I didn't have to worry about it being too cakey. It still gives a really nice skin-like finish, which is something that you want, especially for a wedding look. You don't want to look too cakey. I feel like weddings, you either go really minimal, or if you're going to be doing a full face, just make it a really natural face. So I went natural with the foundation, but I still wanted that, you know, luminous matte finish, which is what we got. All right, so next I went in with some concealer. I wanted to quickly get rid of these dark bags and at the same time brighten up my look. So I went in with my Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Eraser. I got mine in the shade 146, and this just helps to do a 2-in-1, which is get rid of my dark under eyes and also brighten. And I like that it has a little applicator. It just really helps to apply the concealer. And then the brush I use is my Real Techniques Brightening Concealer brush. I like that it's pointed. They actually call this like a kitten paw type of brush. So this was really easy to get in the inner corners and just right up underneath the eyes. So I'm just going to go ahead and blend this out. Now taking a little bit onto the brush, I use this to just conceal my eyelids as well and just right up underneath the brows. To save time, we didn't do any of the shaping of the brows. That's why I wanted to go in with some brow gel, because the brow gel really kind of tames it and gives the shape for it by itself. So I didn't really need to go in and shape up my brows. So we did want to just conceal the eyelids. So taking my foundation brush, I'm just going over the edges and just making sure everything blends together. Now this did a really good job with brightening the eyes, which is what I was going for. I'm just gonna put some to the forehead, down the bridge of my nose, cupid's bow, and chin. And then again, we're just taking that foundation brush and going over all the edges. All right, so now that I have my concealer on, we're gonna go in with some powder. So I did take my Huda Beauty Easy Bake Loose Baking and Setting Powder in the shade Blondie. And this is a yellow based powder, which is what's gonna correct this brightness. Like I said, I was going for a bright look, which is why it looks a little crazy right now, but we're gonna go in with this, and this is just going to bring back that yellow tone to the concealer. And I'm just going in with my Velour Puff. And of course, like always, you want to just blend out your concealer before you set. And we're just gonna set all the other areas. And you don't want to forget underneath your brows and your eyelids as well. So I went ahead and set that as well. All right, so we're gonna go in with a bit of bronzer, bring back some warmth to the skin. So I went in with my Fenty Beauty Instant Warmth Bronzer in the shade Mocha Mami. And then I'm taking my BK Beauty 111 brush. We're just gonna dip into this, and we're just gonna focus it in the contours of our face. So just really gonna warm back up my skin. I do have a detailed bronzer and contour video if you haven't checked it out. That I go in depth on how to apply your bronzer and your contour, all about placement, shade, all of that good stuff. So if you haven't checked that out, I'll leave it on the cards above for you to check out. But this just really helps to not only kind of structure your face again, but also bring back some warmth, because you do lose a bit of warmth when you go in with foundation. And I'm just gonna apply some to the sides. We're not being precise with this. All right, so I'm sticking with the bronzer, but we're gonna go in with the e.l.f. blending brush, and we're gonna dip into that bronzer and just apply it to our eyelid creases. And this is just going to give us a bit of color to the eyes and really put some definition and depth to the eyes as well, and make it look like we did a little something with the eyes. Now you guys know I love Danessa Myricks. She actually just sent me a PR box full of her Color Fix sticks. So these are really good multi-benefit sticks that you can use on your eyes or your lips, or just as anything, honestly. I wanted to do a pop of color or a pop of glitter on my eyes for this wedding, so I went in with just a bit of this. So it is dual-ended, so you have two different shades. I went in with the gold metallic shade, and all I did was apply a bit to my eyelids, and it honestly just gave me a pop of glitter on my eyes. So all I did was just use my pinky and just blend it in onto the eyelids. I'm gonna do one more and then blend it out with my pinky. Now these are definitely beginner friendly. If you're someone who struggles with doing eyeshadow, this is a really quick way to do your eyeshadow. So I'll leave all the links in my description box for you to purchase this. Definitely a really good beginner product. All right, so to finish up the eyes, I went in with my Maybelline Sky High Mascara, and I just blended my top and bottom lashes. All right, we're gonna quickly move back to the face. So I'm gonna go in with a finishing powder for just everywhere, just to make sure that everything blends together. So I did go in with my Black Radiance Soft Focus Finishing Powder. This is in the shade Milk Chocolate. And then for brush today, I'm using my BK Beauty 103 powder brush. And we're just gonna dip into that, and we're honestly applying this everywhere. And you guys know I cannot skip the blush, so I'm going in with my Sephora Colorful Blush. This is in the shade Over the Top. And then I'm taking my Real Techniques blush brush to apply this. I'm gonna dip into that and just add a bit to the cheekbones. All right, so it's time to move on to the lips. So what I did was a lip liner and a nude lipstick combo. So I used my MAC lip liner in Chestnut and then my Annabelle. This is in the shade Avant Garde. So I'm just gonna go ahead and line my lips. Now you can leave it matte. I like gloss, so I went in with some gloss. This is the CoverGirl Yummy Gloss in the shade Sunshine Rays. All right, and then last but not least is setting spray. So I did go in with my L'Oreal 3-second setting mist. This is just gonna make sure that my makeup lasts all night. I use this on actually all 3 of them because we didn't want their makeup to budge, and this has been my go-to. Made sure my makeup stayed and lasts throughout the whole night. So we're gonna go in with this and lock in this makeup. All right, so this was the finishing look. Quickly put myself together in 10 minutes. And guys, today I kind of took my time with explaining and all of that. So it may seem long to you, but trust me, I kind of did my thing. It helped that my lashes were done and already put on already, so that saved a lot of time as well. But yeah, this was what I did to quickly put myself together for this wedding. So I hope that you guys enjoyed today's video, and make sure to link everything that I use in my description box below so that you can purchase it for yourself. Everything that I use today, I swear by. I feel like it never does me wrong. So it's definitely good products that I would recommend to each and every one of you. But that is about it. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you haven't checked out my most recent video, I'll leave it on the screen right here for you to check out after this one, of course. But that is about it. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.